You say you'll never join the Navy, never live on a submarine, or power a ship with nuclear energy. Joining the Navy sounds crazy. Saying never actually is. Learn why at Navy.com. America's Navy, forged by the sea.
Hit pause on the everyday. Say hang on to responsibilities. You can do that to-do list later. Instead, hit play on over 250 of the best casino games online at slotslv.net. Like our must-drop jackpots with over $1,000 in hourly prizes every day. If you're looking for an escape, don't wait. Discover your happy place at slotslv.net. Visit slotslv.net to start having fun.
Welcome to the latest episode of 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Thanks for joining us on your favorite podcast app. We're on Red Circle as well as Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Also find us on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Typically, we do the post game there, but not tonight. So this will make it over there afterwards. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Also, 5reasonsports.com. Spell that one out. And Prize Picks, our great fantasy sponsor. Use that code 5 here for this weekend. Do not ever play Kyle Lowry over. I did that tonight. Oy. But you can play the championship games coming up on Sunday and all the NBA games. Again, go to prizepicks.com, the Google Play Store, or the Apple App Store. Go to prizepicks.com. Use the code 5, F-I-V-E. Get that initial deposit matched up to $100. And now, tonight's post-splits. That's our short episode. Down to Biscayne.
Yikes. 5 on the floor, ride for my dogs. Where here's the thing, you can check the score. Hustle hard, couple scars, wearing bubble frogs. Just like Butler said, you in trouble, y'all. Kept the floor playing, got it all banned. Y'all seen the block, stop with one hand. And Pat we trust, it's power, have the guts. We're here to bring the heat, y'all can hang it up.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, and Alex Toledo, plus others from the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to 5 on the Floor. Here's today's floor plan. Alex and Brady were at the arena. We didn't have a stream put together tonight, so Greg Sylvander and I are going to host a short podcast here, just going over the Miami Heat's 110-105 win over the Orlando Magic. Jimmy Butler with 29, 6, and 6. Bam Adebayo with 26 and 7. Caleb Martin with his best game in a while. I thought that mattered. 13 and 7 for him. 11 points off the bench from Gabe Vincent. He gave them a big boost. As did Max Strus tonight, his best game in a while, with 5 threes for 17 points. On the downside, Kyle Lowry, another kind of, he did have 5 assists. He drew a charge. He had 4 rebounds, but just 6 points, 2 of 6 from the field. Tyler Hero with his second straight struggle from the field. He was 4 of 12. On the Orlando side, Wendell Carter Jr. got some things done. Franz Wagner got some things done. He did go over for me, so I do appreciate that. But unfortunately, Kyle did not hold up his end of the bargain. And Cole Anthony off the bench had 19 points and 7 rebounds. Now, Greg, we don't want to make too much of this because, again, it's Orlando. They're in kind of tank mode, although they sort of have too much young talent to tank. And you saw that tonight. They've got a lot of length. They've got Jonathan Isaac coming back soon, too. They have a lot of bodies to move. I want to just recap this game quickly, and then I want to talk about maybe the possibility of poaching somebody from this roster and what we saw tonight. Let's just start with the game itself. What did you like? What did you not like?
I like that they, although had offensive struggles, I guess down the stretch of the game, they started to get offense going. I think they had a 36 or 37 point fourth quarter. That's huge for this team. So to see them figure that stuff out late, I thought was important. I think it's interesting to see Gabe Vincent have timely contributions and what that means for this team, because it has been timely and it has not been in extended stretches. And I think that that's still a big question mark. Tyler Hero, as you mentioned, was uneven, but late, did some things. And this is the biggest takeaway from this game, because it's not really about the Orlando Magic, like you say, Ethan. The Heat are a game and a half out of the 5 seed and 2 games out of the 4 seed as we sit today. So through all this absolutely excruciating parts of this season and this offense and the points being scored being so low and Heat fans wanting to see a more robust offense, etc. We know all that stuff. They're 6 games above 500, 28 and 22, and they are within striking distance of home court in the first round of the playoffs. So that begs the question of what comes next.
It does beg the question of what comes next. It is remarkable, honestly. And not only that, but we've talked a lot about that team in 15-16, or I've talked a lot about it. And the fact that people forget the start that they got off to with a healthy Chris Bosh, with Goran Dragic, with Dwayne Wade, with Luol Deng, and that they were only 2 games over 500 at the All-Star break. This team is now tracking better than that team. And that team, after losing Chris Bosh, Eric Spoelstra put that thing together with Luol Deng moving to the 4. They added Joe Johnson late in the season. They ended up getting to the second round, 7th game. It's unbelievable to me that this team is better positioned than that team with how we've talked about this team the whole year. Because you and I were not doing a podcast, and I covered that team home and road. And I don't remember being as frustrated with that team as with this team. Maybe it was because they were coming off the 14-15 season, which was such a struggle, and then they added Dragic late. So it was like, okay, at least there's promise with this group, whereas there wasn't from the year before. And at least Dwayne was reasonably healthy, and obviously we didn't know what was going to happen with Chris. But it is surprising to me as you look at it. You're like, okay, this team is tracking better. This team is tracking better than 2006. This team is trying, and yet, like, it doesn't feel right. And even on a night like tonight, they had horrible performances from a shooting perspective from the backcourt, and I'm including Oladipo in that too. So, I mean, it was just Vincent and Strus, but their 3 primary guys that they're counting on did not perform, and they beat a team that has young legs, has some talent, has won 19 games this year, so they're not a total patsy. I just think, I don't know. I think that we can get optimistic here again with what I talked about the other night on the podcast about how they like their team, but they know they need to make an addition. So when we come back, we're going to talk about that potential addition and maybe what looks promising on this roster here. I do want to mention ODM PSI. That's ODM Performance Solutions. Team building is hard. Just ask the Orlando Magic. They've been trying to get out of the first round for, it seems like, decades. They can help you build a winning team at ODM Performance Solutions. If you're looking to fill an important role in your company, ODM PSI can help you find C-suite level leadership, sales rainmakers, plus management and operational support staff. To find out more, check out odmpsi.com. That's odmpsi.com, or give them a call at 954-434-0634. That's odmpsi.com, 954-434-0634. 3-4. We also want to mention one other sponsor here. It's Better Edge. Go to betteredge.com. Use the code 5RSN, and you get $20 to play. That is peer-to-peer betting. And one more, we always mention our friend Lynette. She's usually on the streams with us. If you need car insurance, she's the person to go to. Go to insurancebylynette.com. Again, that's insurancebylynette.com. Lynette will help you find whether it's life insurance, renter's insurance, or of course, your driver's insurance. And again, if you have a bad driving record, she can help you. So go to insurancebylynette.com. She represents Aggressive Insurance, and they have all of the major brands there.
Hit pause on the everyday. Say hang on to responsibilities. You can do that to-do list later. Instead, hit play on over 250 of the best casino games online at slotslv.net. Like our must-drop jackpots with over $1,000 in hourly prizes every day. If you're looking for an escape, don't wait. Discover your happy place at slotslv.net. Visit slotslv.net to start having fun. The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
All right, looking at this Orlando roster, what intrigues you? Because they have a lot of pieces. We've talked about this, but they're not like a finished product yet.
It's funny. They got guys that I think could help Miami that didn't even play tonight. DMP coaches decisions, 2 of them. How funny is this that Mo Bamba, who a lot of Miami Heat fans are fond of, and is a 39% three-point shooter as a 7-footer this year, and Terrence Ross, noted Miami Heat killer, who's shooting 38% from 3, albeit he doesn't play that much, obviously, and neither played tonight. Those 2 almost up to there's 198K difference between those two and Duncan Robinson and Dwayne Dedman. So it's interesting when I think about it from that perspective, if they were to put a lottery protected 2023 pick along with those two, if that would be enough to get them. And then are those two good enough to actually crack this rotation and make a difference? I think that that's also, as we talk about what that package can fetch, we didn't get to see those guys tonight. So I don't know how good they would look or it's kind of like in theory, whereas a lot of other teams have players that are actually in their rotations playing. This is a team that has two guys that could likely contribute, but just aren't getting any run at all.
It's such a weird team because they have bigs and point guards. And it's just like it's just not a whole lot in between. I mean, I'm Banchero. I mean, he's a power forward ostensibly, but it's like all their guys are 7 feet, or they've got Fultz and they've got Cole Anthony and they've got Suggs, who all could play the point guard position. It's just it's an odd group, and that's why when you look at it, you're like, okay, Mo Bamba could be available. Maybe one of their point guards could be available. I've always liked Cole Anthony. Maybe not as a starter, but in a reserve role. I mean, I don't think they're going to give up on Suggs just yet. But we talked about Gary Harris, but and Terrence Ross. Well, those are their two shooters. You mentioned that Ross didn't play tonight. You would have thought maybe if they were trying to trade one of them to Miami, they would have showcased one of them to the Heat tonight. So maybe they're not looking to do that. But it's just something to monitor. We've talked about a lot of the teams: the Clippers, Detroit, Utah, Minnesota. I think Orlando's in that mix. I think Orlando is one of those teams that you look at. They're looking to get worse this year. Their team is right. Their team is almost too good at this point. Like where they're going to have to start sitting some of these guys. I can see, a shutdown injury for Banchero or for Wagner or for somebody else as they go forward. So just something to monitor. When the Heat win tonight, 6 games over 500. I mean, they're now kind of on a 45, 46 win pace. It's not as ugly as it looked before. We don't want to throw too many roses out, after beating a team at home by 5 and struggling through some of it to kind of get the game under control. But a little bit better. All right, we will be back over the weekend, and of course, there's a 1:00 game against Charlotte on Sunday. Check that one out, and we will have a stream after that one, I promise. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to the 5 on the Floor on the 5 Regional Sports Network.